Hello, good day to you, viewers and listeners. This is your show, Midday Vibe. Coming your way on Calipet TV, transmitting on channel 141 on Star Times and on Calipet FM, transmitting on 91.9 MHz and on our website, www.calipetbroadcast.com. In today's edition of the program, we are going to be looking at the importance and relevance of integrating entrepreneurship into the secondary school education, based on the fact that there have been sayings right since the last administration of the country that government has no work to offer to people anymore. So, where do we start from? I think it's important that we start from the secondary education so that we can imbibe the culture or we induce the culture of self-reliance in our younger generation coming up. I am Muktare Gwanga, your uncle for the day. And with me in the studio today, I'm honored to have Dr. Shamsuddin Bello, who is the Director of Entrepreneurship Center, Sokoto State University, Sokoto, and who doubles as a lecturer with the Department of Science Education, Faculty of Education, Sokoto State University, Sokoto. Dr. Shamsuddin, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, viewers, stay tuned as the program starts shortly. All right, welcome back. As said earlier, we are going to be discussing on the importance of integrating entrepreneurship into the secondary school education curriculum. Doctor, for a start, we have heard how late President Muhammad Buhari in his era decried that the government has no more jobs for youths that are unemployed. Therefore, one of the resolutions he gave is they should embark on farming and some other activities. So, sir, what or let me say, how can you describe the significance of entrepreneurship in the life of people? Let me start with that.
Well, Mukhtar and listeners, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I think it is important we look back to education itself
Okay.
because I think education was considered as an agent of social mobility, something that elevates
The society.
individuals
Yes.
within the society, something that gives you an opportunity to earn living. That's a modern education.
Yeah.
And this modern education was brought to us by some other individuals. It's not our own way of education.
Education,
It was
yes.
brought to us. And initially, you see, when you go to school, you graduate, you acquire knowledge, you acquire certain skills that will enable you to work in certain areas or organizations, be it government organizations or non-governmental
Non-governmental
organizations, but
organizations.
you work with in certain capacities, in security, teaching, health sector, whatever. And that's the whole idea behind modern education. You go to school, you get the knowledge, you get the skills to become what we call professional in a particular area or discipline. But as time goes, those organizations become so what we call it, so dominated by a lot of individuals as they cannot accommodate more individuals. And as such, therefore, not only Nigeria,
Okay.
the modern education has to be revised
Revised.
because as time goes, you graduate or you finish. There was a time when you finish primary school in Nigeria, you get job, you get up paid, well paid, you get car, you get everything.
Yeah.
When you finish secondary school, at least you are a very big man. You go to college, you finish NCE, you finish diploma, you are a celebrity in your area.
Now, that's
You
true.
graduate nowadays, you finish degree, you finish PhDs, you cannot get job.
Yeah.
So the essence is that we shall understand that, of course, initially this modern education was there to provide employment for graduates, that is for individuals who went through that educational system. But not only recently, as far back as 1980s, there was that cry in Nigeria that the number of graduates who are unemployed in the country is on the rise. So the government keep on reviewing its own educational system.
Okay.
And that is not a different. And I think in 2011 or prior to that, let me say in 2006 or 7,
Okay.
the federal government decided that it has to start somewhere
All right.
because when we talk of education, you go to primary school, you go to secondary schools, people are seeing you as irrelevant when it comes to recruitment, job. So you have to accumulate higher certificates.
Education, yes.
So, but when we are talking about unemployment, we are more referring to those that went to higher institutions. Because secondary school leavers and primary school leavers are considered as dead already because they cannot get job in that system. So I'm just taking us back so that we understand the whole idea behind this. So and this is also, as I said, it's a borrowed education system. So we have to look at other nations and see how they are doing their own educations. And all developed nations has turned attention from now conventional modern educations that you send somebody to get degree or to get certificates and you hire him to work in government offices which are no more available. They are too scarce. So they all turn attention to what we call entrepreneurship education. That is an education that provides an individual with entrepreneurial skills. Developing his entrepreneurial mindset, etc., etc. And I think that's why Nigeria embraces that challenge as early as 21st century, somewhere in 2000. And I think in 2006 there was introduction of this entrepreneurship programs in all tertiary institutions in Nigeria as a compulsory course that all students must undergo. And also it has its own a lot of challenges up till now. And in 2011 the federal government also realizes that look, it is important to step down that entrepreneurship education to secondary school. And I think if I can recall, that was the time when federal governments reviewed the curriculum of secondary schools and primary schools and reintroduced new curriculum, changing the core subjects, I think from 5 English, mathematics, biology, Hausa, and and Islamic studies, if I could recall, or any religious subjects. They changed it to new core subjects, introducing English, mathematics as the main core subjects. They introduces computer, they introduces civic education, and introduces trade, which we now call which is representative of entrepreneurship. That students should also go to schools, all secondary schools. Now, students should go there and at least offer one trade course subjects. And that trade subjects, I think they identify about 30 to 34 different trade courses subjects. So a student is expected to select one of those subjects throughout his senior secondary school. Only senior secondary school that time. So you go to secondary school, you select trade. Example of those trade subjects include, I think, catering craft practice, civic education, marketing, woodwork, bookkeeping, that's very good, etc. About 34 of them. So, and that has been the situation for secondary school. But the question is, does that solve the problem?
That's where it's going.
And also, prior to that, don't forget, in an attempt to eliminate those unemployment rate even at secondary school, there was introduction of technical and vocational schools. That students should go. So if you cannot go to conventional schools that you do physics, chemistry, biology, you end up becoming a medical doctor or engineer, all this and that. You go to vocational schools to acquire certain skills that when you finish your vocational school, your secondary school vocational education, you can be on your own. You can be self-employed. So you see, this idea of entrepreneurship is not new thing in Nigerian education system. It has been there. But the question is, have we succeeded? And why have we not succeeded if we have not? What are the problems and what can we do about it? Because as recently, I think in somewhere September 2025, there was also a review in this entrepreneurship education in secondary school. I think that's when the government also reintroduced new core subjects. New core subjects, reducing the number of subjects offered at primary schools, junior secondary school, even though maintaining the senior secondary school subjects. At that time, they maintain the trade subjects, but they reduce the number of trades from 34 to only 6. And those 6 are more of what we call it, technologically oriented trade subjects, like let's say solar installations, computer and GSM repairs, and about 6 of them. So that is the new direction we are moving.
All right, Dr. Shamsu, I think we have started something and we are not done with it, and we engage ourselves in another thing in the country. But for now, let's just narrow it down. Like, based on what you said, this has been the trend since from the beginning of the 21st century. Then why is it not yielding, I will say, no result among the populace? Because you realize that a person will just finish secondary and be thinking of, let me just go to university and learn something, as if you have not done anything in the secondary school.
Yeah, you see, you also have to look at it again and see also somebody graduating from the university. Even though we said entrepreneurship was introduced as far back as 2006,
Yeah,
but
okay.
still looking for job.
Yes,
So what
that's
is
true.
the problem? I think it was one of the major issue, and the government is still changing and modifying those
Okay.
programs, and because there's no way we will deviate from tertiary institutions and talking about secondary school, because the problem has to start or has to be resolved at tertiary level.
institutions.
Then we now think of, because the secondary education, we know, yeah, if you finish secondary school education, you can proceed to tertiary
Tertiary
education.
institution, yes.
University, your parents can take care of you, because still you can be under their control. But still, why is it that it is not yielding result, and why
Yeah.
are we having this problem?
Yes.
I think the answer is down to 2 or 3 things.
Okay.
You see, government policies, government's programs are introduced in Nigeria without proper implementation strategy.
Okay.
When these programs were introduced, let's understand that, okay, it's not going to be a business as usual. We are not going to be teaching students government, physics, chemistry, mathematics alone. We want them, let's say for secondary school, to be able to do some trade subjects. So anybody finishing secondary school should be able to learn 1 or 2 trade. That's the mission, that's the objective. So what strategies do we have to achieve this? Because the government has identified the programs.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all over the country. Remember, in Nigeria, we have 3 tiers of government.
Yes.
We have the federal government, we have the state government,
We have the local government.
we have the local government. And education is on the concurrent list of government. What I mean is that, look, the federal government has its own responsibility for
Yes.
education. The state government has responsibility. And
Yeah.
the local government has responsibility. Each
Yes.
one of them has responsibility. So if the federal government now plan something, I think it is the responsibility of the federal government to ensure that the state governments
Adopted.
have implemented it well, monitor it, and ensure its own effectiveness.
Yeah. Okay.
You see, going back to that program, I remember, I think that time I was teaching in University Model, Stanford University Model Secondary School, when in 2011, when that was introduced, and we are presented with that challenge of selecting a trade subject. I remember I was discussing with my principal, and we are thinking of, out of this 34, what can we do? And we have to analyze and see our strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can we teach?
Like what
And
do you have
resources do we have
resources?
to implement? And I believe we selected 2. The responsibility is that students can select out of 34.
Okay.
But what are resources we have? That's challenge number 1.
Number 1. Yeah.
The schools or the governments or ministries at state level, even at federal government levels, they have limited resources. So the federal government introduces something that should be done, maybe
but
without considering the resources available.
Yeah.
So now we selected, I remember, I'm teaching biology that time. So we selected animal husbandry and catering crab practice. And the reason behind that is that we have somebody handling home management.
Home management.
So we believe with the home management laboratory, with the facility, with the persons there,
Yeah.
what catering craft can be
Done.
can be done to some extent. And we have a biology teacher, we have agricultural teacher, science teacher. So we think we can now take animal husbandry and make it more practical, since we have animal house, and we have where we can store our poultry and whatever. So that's what introduction. But actually, the funny thing is that I can remember as far back as that, because I was in the system and I was in touch with State Ministry of Education.
Okay.
All state governments, that is public schools, state government-owned schools,
Yes.
were compelled to select marketing for all men schools and home management for all female schools. So whether you like it or you don't like it, you just go for marketing. So when you select marketing as a subject, what are you going to get?
And there's nothing feasible about marketing.
So all schools are to teach marketing.
Wow.
Maybe because they have economic teachers, business studies teachers. And what skills are you giving to all students of Sokoto State in marketing? And I think that's the genesis of that problem is that time. I can vividly remember.
All right.
And that's why if you review secondary school results, most of the students, you will see marketing there.
Yes, that's
and
true.
you have never asked yourself, what is marketing doing there? You do science, you do art, you do humanities,
you still
do marketing.
Yes.
Why? Because as at the time when that entrepreneurship education was introduced in secondary school, the governments or the ministry that then believed the only subjects they can offer is marketing. And about how many, 2011 to date now is about 15 years, 14 years. And what are the changes? Because you expect the government to start planning of, okay, now so school, we are going to introduce this subject to the point that we now decentralize. Also, okay, certain local governments that are into farming. Okay, we take crop husbandry in those local governments. Okay, so are into rearing of animals. Animal husbandry. Or we say, okay, Womako are very close to some industries. We take so subjects that they will do. But that's planning. That's number one. So that challenge number one. Two is also when it comes to teaching the course, the subjects. Okay. Now, even though you selected marketing, or you selected whatever trade that time, the approach of teaching each subject varies. If you select marketing, there are certain strategies and approach of teaching marketing, and it needs marketing specialist, not a general economist or general
someone that will just copy from textbook to students.
So who is there to teach? Okay, and how to teach? Remember, all trade subjects or entrepreneurship subjects are hands-on subjects. They need hands-on approach to teaching.
Like they need practical and physical practice.
So you need all those things. So these are also the problems that I think has made it difficult for schools to implement, and has also yielded no results. Okay. Because still you finish secondary school, what are you going to be doing with marketing? I'm not disrespecting marketing. When you say all students in secondary state, they must do marketing. Yes. What are they going to do eventually? How are they going to be self-reliant after graduating? How many thousands of students are we producing every year? Now, in the last 10 years, we have produced students that have skills of marketing. Even though, marketing is very essential in entrepreneurship. You cannot be an entrepreneur without marketing. You have to get the marketing skills, of course, wherever you are going, because entrepreneurship is all about what? Turning ideas into business.
Yes, that's true.
Through innovations, through creations of new things and whatever. So you now turn those ideas, because we believe when you take somebody to school, primary, secondary schools, certainly his way of thinking. If somebody went to secondary school, at least we finished secondary school, even without learning trades, we believe his way of thinking is different from someone who did not attend
school.
So he may have better ideas than someone who did not. So when you now introduce his business to them, certainly someone who went to school may have a better, I'm not saying may have a better idea than. So those ideas that somebody has, how can he turn it to reality? How can he create something? Let's assume I have 2 children, and all of them, I ensure that they learn tailoring, and they become tailors even before they finish secondary school. They have that skills. So the essence of giving them opportunity to learn tailoring is not for them to be just doing the same tago, the window that they have learned from their master, but I expect them to innovate,
create,
to do something on it. Let's assume they learn this normal sewing. So at least they should grow. They should now look at, okay, this is my own generation. In my generations, they prefer, let's say, fitted clothes. They prefer a fitted neck, whatever. They prefer whatever. So they will now start making adjustment and make innovations that they will now produce new clothes that their generations appreciate more. So when they introduces that, and they have started doing that style of old fashion, certainly most of their generation will be moving away from their tailors
toward them,
to get market. And that's all about entrepreneurship.
All right, that's good. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Shamsuddin. Viewers and listeners, still your show, Midday Vibe, coming your way on Calipet TV, transmitted on channel 141 on Star Times, and Caliphate FM, transmitted on 91.3 megahertz, as well as our website on www.calipatebroadcast.com. All right, Doctor, having a look at the entire nature of integrating the entrepreneurship in the schools and identifying some of the problems. Now, let me just ask this question. Let's talk about Sokoto specifically. We want this to be a success because we can remember recently, I will not mention some schools, the name of the schools, but there's a school which we have seen over the social media that the students there innovated a car. We have seen some that innovated a lot of things that are like very real, and we have seen them. So but the main thing or the concern is all these schools are privately owned schools, not public, and we believe government have the resources more than every individual. Like it can implement any project without a support of if a single person should implement one project, then government should be able to do 10 of that. So what skills do we need to induce in our children in public schools so far now if you want it to be a success and reduce the rate of unemployment in the community?
Yeah, that's a very good and wonderful question. You see, the government has a lot of things and have far better than private institutions.
Yes.
I remember back in 2009-10 when I did my master's, 2012, I was depending my work, and I revealed that there are more science or laboratory equipments in public school than private. And the examiner was from Kaduna. He said, "No, how can you say government schools have far equipment?" I said, "Look, sir, not even equipments. There are more qualified teachers in public schools than in private schools." That's what I discovered. And I showed him data. And even the rest of the people around said, "Look, sir, what this gentleman said is, I think is the truth." Because go to schools, you see most of the private schools are employing undergraduate students teaching there, and that's one thing.
Yeah.
So the government has a lot of things that are far better than private schools. But the issue is the commitment. The issue is the desire and the willingness to do it.
Monitoring and supervision.
It's also all about supervisions and also appropriate funding and also corruptions and selfishness.
Okay.
When you talk of selecting a trade, as I said earlier, since 2011, when government selected marketing, up to now we are still our children are learning marketing as a trade. Now, September 2020, the federal government introduces 6 new trades. With the Sokoto State government can introduce 6 more or 10 more and say, look, we have areas that we believe we can do more.
Excel, yeah.
This is how we are going to do it. Okay. Even if we cannot do it, we give the freedom to all schools. We say, okay, we have 6 educational zones. Now, each educational zones, we identify their strengths, we identify their problems, and we identify the financial opportunities and business opportunities in those regions, and introduces subjects that will enable us to produce students from those secondary schools that will take advantage of those business opportunities to become self-employed in the future.
Okay.
That's for instance. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah, I'll get it.
So, and also the government has a lot of agencies. We have Ministry of Education, Basic and Secondary School Education as the main ministry. Let's take that ministry as example.
Okay.
Now, if you take Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, they have funds. So every year they have budget. State government max money for certain things. How much money were now budgeted for implementation of new entrepreneurship education system in secondary schools? It should be how much was allocated. You can now go through all the budgets to look at the budget of the ministry from 2011 when we started primary education. Look for how much was implemented for or earmarked or budgeted for implemented for that entrepreneurship education. The answer is zero. So I think it's from you don't expect governor to just say think about that. Governor, like now we have a governor. Our governor, let's say, is a business administrator by profession.
Okay.
And you don't expect him to sit down and be thinking of this.
Yeah.
You don't expect him to think about health. Look, they are too much.
Yeah.
But a commissioner of education should start thinking of, okay, Your Excellency, sir, we need so amount for this issue. Think of this. Convince him so that it will reflect on the budget.
Okay.
Also, the commissioner, we have also Ministry of Skills Acquisitions and Entrepreneurship. What is that ministry doing?
Okay.
And what is the role of that ministry in the implementation of this entrepreneurship education? Certainly they have. Because they are a partner in that area. So what are they doing? And what have they budgeted for that in school, in our more conventional, our modern education system? It's down to the ministry to come up with that. We also have agency. We have also another ministry of digital. I think digital economy and innovation.
Digital economy and innovation.
So you can think of, there's no way you will be an entrepreneurship or you do an entrepreneur without innovation. Innovation
especially in this era
especially in this era of digital innovations. So what is their role in entrepreneurship education? And now what are they going to do? We have other government agencies like, let's say, SOSMEDA, Sokoto State Small and Medium Enterprises. In the last 2 years alone, I can tell you that organizations, through one interventions of World Bank, federal government, disburses nothing less than 4 to 5 billion naira to Sokoto State Indigenous. Out of that, how much funds were allocated for students who are learning entrepreneurship in secondary school and tertiary education? You can look at it. You can see everything is there in government. But one key thing we need for us to succeed in the 21st century, not only in entrepreneurship, is collaborations.
Okay.
Collaboration. Where is the collaboration among these government agencies to achieving entrepreneurship education?
Yes.
Because all these agencies are identified and ministries. They are stakeholders in entrepreneurship, in the development of entrepreneurship.
Sure.
And entrepreneurship education is now the order of the day in education.
That's true.
So what are they doing? What are they bringing to Ministry of Education? And what is Ministry of Education doing to bring them together, to work with them together, to see interventions and innovations? Look at our tertiary institutions now. They are just doing, you can see the structures because of interventions from one federal government donor agency. This is talking about only state government. There are also federal donor agencies, federal government partners in education. So I believe with those things and with the right attitude, the government has a lot of things. But not having somebody living in the office, staying in the office as this, as that, and only to come and be praising the government efforts with the governments which is not yielding any result. So going back to what you said with regards to some schools, I know some schools, especially private schools, are introducing this entrepreneurship education, but the fear we shall understand, because in the beginning the general understanding is that more of vocational skills. And that is what we have been implementing. Even the federal government that introduces it initially, it introduces entrepreneurship education as educational skills. But as time goes, a better understanding was a kind of identified of what entrepreneurship is all about. So it's all about, one, you have to develop the mindset of the student. Let him have that mindset of becoming an entrepreneur. Because one of the reasons why the programs is unsuccessful is that students don't have the mindset. They are not ready. They don't think they even consider it's useless. So you have to develop the mindset. Two, to do the mindset, that's when you get their interest. And that is when they start encouraging them.
And start thinking about.
Two, you teach students something that they can now innovate. Do something new. So now entrepreneurship education is not just teaching a particular trade subject. Even in the trade subject, there should be synergy with other subjects. For instance, if you get the mindset, you use a trade subject to teach students on how to become a successful business person and to innovate and do something. Now, through other subjects, students may see other opportunities.
That's true.
Let's say we do physics, we do chemistry, we do mathematics. Look, through all these things, certain skills, certain things are taught. Even though we are wrongly teaching in that we teach wrongly. Science, for instance, is a hands-on subject. It's a practical subject. But we teach science with notes.
That's
We
it.
give students a lot of vocabularies that they cannot comprehend.
Yeah, that's true.
No students can tell you now, can demonstrate to you how to do soap making, sophistication.
Yeah.
But you can define the meaning of
The
sophistication.
types and what
But
have
he
you.
cannot make a
Make
soap.
it. Yeah.
Student can tell you a balanced diet,
Mm.
meaning of a balanced diet, but you ask him to produce a balanced diet with simple, he
You
cannot make
can't.
it.
That's true.
So we have to change the way we teach.
Mm.
We have to give the right things
Mm.
and allow our teachers to do it.
Okay.
Thirdly, I mentioned 3. I say, okay, even these things that was introduced, it was introduced at a point.
Mm.
The people implementing the curriculums are not trained with that mindset.
Mm.
You are bringing something new system,
Mm.
but there is no training and retraining of teachers on this new approach.
Yes.
You have to train and retrain teachers on entrepreneurship education, even in their own discipline. Let me, biology teacher, understand that entrepreneurship education is also concern biology. Let me identify entrepreneurship areas in biology that are even related and relevant to people of Sokoto State. Let me even start thinking of becoming entrepreneur, so that the little salary I'm receiving will be complemented with what I am doing.
Yes.
And that is how student will see what I'm doing and making money.
Okay.
And now appreciate and think of, envy me and
so
think of becoming someone like me. So until you give people the right training on this, they cannot implement it. Please, there is huge gap, misunderstanding, a lot of things with this program, and you cannot implement what you don't know. They say you cannot give what you don't have.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Shamsuddin. Perhaps that's why the courses of entrepreneurship have been taught the way the other courses are taught. All right, viewers and listeners, it's now time to go for a little break, and the program will continue thereafter. Remember, it's coming your way, the show Midday Vibe on Calipet TV, transmitted on channel 141 on Star Times, and Calipet Radio, transmitted on 92.9 megahertz. Do stay tuned and go nowhere. All right, welcome back, viewers and listeners. It's still your show, Midday Vibe, coming your way on Calipet TV, transmitted on channel 141 on Star Times, and Calipet Radio, transmitted on 92.9 megahertz, as well as our website, www.calipetbroadcast.com. And don't forget, you can join us on our YouTube handle at Calipet TV and Radio, as well as our Facebook handle at Calipet TV. And you can listen to us on Calipet Radio Sokoto on Facebook. All right, back to the show. We are discussing on integration of entrepreneurship education in secondary education in Sokoto State, and particularly in Sokoto State. And with me in the studio is Dr. Shamsuddin Bello, who is the Director of Entrepreneurship Center, Sokoto State University, Sokoto, and doubles as a lecturer with the Department of Science Education, Faculty of Education, Sokoto State University, Sokoto. It's now high time to allow the viewers and listeners to chip in the program by dialing 09060002022. I'll repeat, 09060002022. And you can also do send a message on the same number, 09060002022. Don't forget, when you do call, please move away from the radio set that you listen to us and speak clearly and stick to the topic of discussion. All right, Dr. Shamsuddin, welcome back to the show. All right, before we start receiving the callers right now, and Doctor, we have now highlighted some of the problems that are facing the success of integration of this particular entrepreneurship into the secondary education. And we are now thinking of the skills, or we have spoke about the skills that are meant to be taught. So now, despite these challenges you have faced, what is really the way forward? What shall government do to ensure the success of this particular fruitful move?
Well, the way forward, I will start with first, awareness.
Okay.
Let us create awareness amongst stakeholders in education in Sokoto State.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, let the teachers, head of schools, head of ministries, and other government agencies understand what we mean by entrepreneurship education.
Mm.
One is what is the objectives and what is the rationale behind this entrepreneurship education in secondary school, introducing it. Two, what are those skills identified and why do we need them, or why do we even need more? Because, for instance, if you take, let's say, solar installations, I believe in the last 2 years, you can see that even Sokoto State government has invested much on solar energy.
Yes.
Most of our streets are now solar
powered, yeah.
But who is there to repair them? Eventually, if they develop fault, we have to invite somebody from outside to fix them.
Sure.
We only use our own people to give them contract and fix them. But remember, right now we have younger ones, children, roaming about in the state, trying to innovate one or two rechargeable touch.
Yes.
You see them using CD plate.
Yeah.
You see them using what cover, whatever, using used batteries of mobile phones, and they are innovating those things. And those children are those ones we have in secondary school.
And I can remember, Doctor, last year I have experienced a child that when your light bulb, this white light bulb, blew up, he have a way of fixing it and make it work
that
again.
One is all over. You see a lot of them in the state. They are there. So that's one is awareness.
Okay.
You create awareness. Let stakeholders know about this. Then two, training of existing teachers on entrepreneurship education and also implementation of entrepreneurship education in secondary school. So let the teachers be trained on how to do it.
Okay.
With emphasis on their own various subjects. There is no subject that has no entrepreneurship in it. All subject has element of entrepreneurship. I remember when I was presenting a paper in the university last month, and I said there was entrepreneurship even in Arabic. And one professor drew my attention. He said, "Look, I don't think you should use this word even." I said, no, sir, I did not relegate Arabic because I was born and raised by an Arabic teacher. So I can say I was born and raised and fed with Arabic money. And what I'm saying is that the thinking of our people is Arabic. How can we use Arabic for business? So that's what I mean. So what we are saying is that no subject you see that has no element in entrepreneurship. So you have to train teachers on this.
Okay.
Three, the government has to come up with collaborations.
Okay.
Inculcate the habit of collaboration among its
agencies and ministries.
Let each ministry knows how it can interact or how it can collaborate with fellow ministry. When it comes to entrepreneurship education, I just mentioned few ministries and agencies that I believe they can work together harmoniously. And when they work together, I believe the entrepreneurship education will be fully and very well implemented. We are not going to implement what the 6 subjects identified as. We may implement more than that. So I think with that, these are some of the things. And I think the last thing I can think of is on the parent side, that the parent has to be carried along.
Okay.
Because look, it's one thing interacting with the student in the school. And another thing, interacting with the student at home.
Okay.
So it's a collective responsibility.
Yes.
The parents should not be thinking of just sending their children. They should also help to fund their student with little resources they have. In fact, they should even guide their children in selecting the trades.
Yes.
As a father, I know, I can tell you, okay, you give me the trade that I think this one in our area, if you can do it, blah, blah, I can even donate something to you to start your business. And they should also help their children with that. So I think with those 2 or little things, we can put them together. Certainly will help education and will also help entrepreneurship education.
Okay, Doctor, we are still talking about reducing of unemployment, because when we talk about entrepreneurship, we are just talking about the menace that have been developing in the country, which is reduction of unemployment. So now, in your own side, do you think maybe there are other ways that can be followed by the government, let's say specifically in Sokoto State, to maybe marry this entrepreneurship education, because with it, so that they can reduce it? Because if you look at it, for those that have finished, let me say, university or tertiary institutions for the first 5 years, I think they are only taught a little about entrepreneurship. So they don't have the vast knowledge and they don't even know how to implement what they have learned because they were just offered the course to pass. So, and we need to carry them along because they are the ones now making the truck to be very heavy for the government. What other thing can the government do integrate along with this entrepreneurship so that as the younger ones are growing entrepreneurs, the older ones will now maybe benefit out of the plans?
You see, it's because the scope of our discussion is secondary education. That's why we didn't open it to tertiary institution. But since you brought university issue, I think it's important. I think that's why I try to draw the attention of members of my university community when I presented an article. That look, there was a paradigm shift in entrepreneurship education in Nigerian universities. That before we teach, we expose students to certain vocational programs. Photography, typing, printing, blah blah, shoemaking, bag making, soap and detergents. Now the federal government, when it introduces entrepreneurship in 2006, it identified this as practical areas. But nowadays, new introductions or new changes has been made. Now look, the entrepreneurship education that we do in university, we have a general course, you know it, called entrepreneurship practice and the introduction to entrepreneurship. Now the new university curriculum, which is called CCMAS, has now narrowed down the entrepreneurship education to department and the programs. Now look, every program, every degree program must select and identify. It's not even the federal government that will give you the course. You come up with 2 or 3 courses of entrepreneurship. Okay. So the student will now learn practical skills in their area. Okay. Rather than you teach student of Arabic, shoe and bag, or you teach soap and detergent. Yes. Now let the people of Arabic think of what business skills they can give them. Let's say even if it means Arabic typing, yes, that typing the whole distincts or creating Arabic social media content. Because look, we have to understand the reason behind introducing these things in secondary school now. Yes, digital technology as a subject, because now students are going to have English, mathematics, heritage and citizenship, one third subject, and another subject called digital literacy or digital technology as a subject. Okay, you have to learn it. You have to do it just the way you do physics, chemistry, and mathematics. You have to do it. So the reason behind it is that the direction of the world is moving towards digital technology. So what I'm saying is that in the next 10 years, we shall be having our own generations of young Sokoto State who will be creating a lot of content, social media content, even artificial intelligence content, that they now learn a lot of things and you make money. Mukhtar, you ask yourself, how many people in Sokoto State, for instance, are using WhatsApp? Almost everybody. Yes. How much data do we use for WhatsApp a day? Calculate Sokoto alone and how much millions are we investing, and ask the person that developed this WhatsApp, how much money are we passing? We see it as free, but we buy data. Yes. The MTN that give us access to WhatsApp must pay him what we pay. Yeah. To give us access to it. The same thing with Facebook. Okay. The same thing with Google. All this thing we use data to access. But this money we use to buy data, they are not going to MTN or Airtel. Okay. They have to go to the persons. Yes. Because they give them, if you, for example, we said, okay, this is my service. You only provide access. I give them. So I will now give you 30%. And you give me 70%. So you can see money is there. Yes. And we are contributing to making these people rich. That's true. So the thinking is that we should have our own young men that will be thinking of introducing. I'm not saying it's not impossible. Yeah, it's not. We can have our own content because China, if you go, they have their own social media content. Yes. And they encourage their people to use their own social media content rather than spending money elsewhere. There was a time when I had one of the government stakeholders, government commissioner or SA in digital economy. He was lamenting that, look, our people should stop using this YouTube, whatever. You are giving money somewhere. Use it where you can get.
Okay.
So I think it's important. So what I was trying, even though I digress, what is important is that our young generations, that is university graduates,
yes,
will now be receiving training of entrepreneurship in their own
subject
area of specialization. So which means our thinking is that when you develop the mindset of guidance and counselor, for instance, he will understand opportunities of businesses in guidance and counseling, far than telling him, come and do shoemaking and
photography.
You get it? Yes. So that's the direction. And it is our hope that if departments or the units, the programs or individual stakeholders involved can do this and implement it well, and if the government can fund, because it's another thing.
Yes,
the government has to come in to provide funds to those departments. If Sokoto State University want to do it, then the state government should provide funds for whatever is needed by the department to implement what they want. And I believe this is the right directions.
Okay.
This is the right way. If somebody is trained in entrepreneurship in his own area of specialization, certainly he will now innovate.
Oh, yes.
And if he innovate, he will now come to that's where this Sosmeda of things will come in.
Now.
Will now call, or he will report to the department will report to the university. And the university will write to Sosmeda, for instance. So look, here we have somebody who innovate this. And we believe if he can be given 1 million naira or 500,000 to start up his business. And Sosmeda will come, okay, this is beautiful. We are now contributing or loaning you or giving you a loan, or Bank of Industry we should give you a loan, or we will be your guarantor, will be your surety, whatever. So government agencies has to collaborate.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Diti Time Factor. I think we just have to end this conversation here, and we wish you a safe trip back, and we hope when we invite you next, you come for more delightful, more fruitful conversations of this nature. All right, viewers, ladies and gentlemen, here we draw the curtains of today's show, and I hope you've really enjoyed it. Just remember that to be a self-reliant is a very good thing, because with it, you'll be able to sponsor yourself, sponsor your loved ones, and even make a meaningful contribution to your society. Stay tuned and keep watching Calipit TV, transmitted on channel 149 on Star Times, and listening to Calipit Radio, transmitted on 91.9 MHz. From the studios of Calipit TV, Muktari Gonga saying, have a wonderful day.